Hello everybody and welcome to another video of Naval Action. So, I'm here in my Santissima in a Commodore mission. And I'll be talking about a change which was done in the recent patch. And that is regarding ramming. So, ramming was... before ramming would cause leaks, and if you were rammed by one or two ships you would sink. But due to griefing done with it, for example, having a Connie ram a Pavel or a Santissima or a Victory or something like that to sink it, it was decided by the devs to disable it, basically. So, this is gonna be a short one. This is also so that I create more Naval Action content, since people asked for it. So, I'm going to talk about how I feel about this change, and it's a mixed bag for me. Because I was really a fan of ramming being deadly. As in, you wanted to avoid being rammed or ramming at all cost. And it's funny how I say that I prefer that, because I tend to ram people. So, how do I feel about this change? Well, it's a mixed bag, like I said. So, the good thing is, griefing like Constitution, ramming a Pavel or a Santissima or something like that, and sinking it won't happen. However, the bad thing is that ramming isn't as discouraged as it was before. It's still discouraged, since you still take damage when ramming. Of course, you also do damage. But it's not as discouraged, since you can't sink from it anymore, really. Also, I've taken a lot of damage in my balance turn. So, as I said, it's a mixed bag, and the nice thing, of course, is that the griefing won't really happen anymore. And I won't sink teammates anymore by ramming. Not that I've actually done that. I don't think I've ever sank a teammate before. Also, apologies ahead for kind of starting recording in the middle of it. I forgot to unmute my microphone. Yeah. First I did it yesterday with the Total War Warhammer stream. And then I did it... Ooh, that's a lot of leaks. That ship's gonna sink. And then I did it here. So, apologies for that, but you didn't miss much. You just missed me rambling, which, of course, I'm re-recording now. So anyways, back on topic. So, it's a good thing. And a bad thing. So, the good thing, the Connie doesn't grief. You can't get grief by Connie's ramming anymore, but you won't take damage ramming, really. It's insignificant damage, really. Which is a mixed bag. But overall, I think for gameplay wise, it's probably good. However, historically wise, I believe if a ship were to ram another ship, it would. Historically wise, it's a good question, since I don't know if anybody knows. But if a ship were to ram another ship, would there be underwater leaks created? Since if I were to take all of this part, ram it into the Constitution side, it would hit like over here, and all of this is solid. I hope my mouse isn't disabled. However, the forces would still spread to the planks, which possibly are under the waterline. And of course, for the side of the Connie, I would say hit over here on the railing or whatever it's called. And I would expect that bit to get crushed, but would it move down to below the waterline? Or would it all remain above waterline? And well, the devs have made a thread about this, and I think one of the reasons why they did this is the conclusion, according to the devs, I believe, was at least that most of the damage would remain above waterline. Since after all, a ship is bowed like, or bent like this, where what's above the waterline would definitely be the one taking the brunt of damage. But another interesting thing that comes up is, what about smaller ships? Say, if I were to ram a cutter in this, that cutter would be obliterated. However, without leaks caused by damage, that cutter won't notice. Well, it'll notice. It's a giant ship which crashed into it, so it'll take damage to the hull. But it won't really it won't think about it, while historically it would most definitely think it, since it's a first rate hitting a small little cutter. So of course that opens up for, as we had before as well, for ridiculous situations where a cutter won't sink due to a ram from a first rate. Of course, before the cutter would, well, tip over if we go back long enough. But now nothing really will happen. So I would like to see the leaks caused by ramming return, but only if there's like a situation where, say, if a Santissima were to ram a Constitution, no leak. The size isn't different. Size difference isn't big enough. But if, say, the Santissima was to ram a Surprise or a Bell or a Surprise or a Bell Pool maybe, or other smaller ships, I would like to see return of leaks to the smaller ships, not the bigger ship. So that, since you have, after all, it's massive ships, massive tonnage, of course they would do significant damage to a small ship like a Surprise or a brig or a cutter or any small ship. And of course it would also do damage to, if a large ship were to ram another large ship. Of course, there would be massive amounts of damage, but would any of it be underwater to cause leaks? Since I imagine that would happen with, if you were to ram smaller ships. And the other question is that good for gameplay? Let's urgently repair that. I don't think it's good for gameplay that if similarly sized ships ram each other, that they start sinking. I don't think that's good for that gameplay. Or if smaller ships ram a larger ship, that the larger ship starts sinking. I think that's bad for gameplay. Since the larger ship, well, it opens up griefing where a couple of Constitutions can sink a Santissima. And a Constitution is cheap compared to the Santissima, since the Constitution only has, or the Constitution has 4 durabilities, while the Santissima only 1. So, in my opinion, it's a good thing that they disabled, overall, it's a good thing that they disabled leaks by ramming, but I would like it to return in the format of, if a ship much larger than another rams the smaller ship, that the smaller ship gets leaks. Because it's a bit ridiculous that a cutter, for example, wouldn't get leak. Or even if it doesn't get leak, but it should take on water, since it would get swamped. Since if this ship were to ram a cutter, you would notice, how can I show it? The cutter would kind of start to tip over a bit, and it would take on water from being a bit tipped over and being pushed. So at least it should take on water if it doesn't create leak, for example, in the situation of a cutter. But the easy way, I think, would at least be just have, if a significantly larger ship rams a small ship, the small ship gets leaks. And another thing which could actually be a thing, if a large ship rams another large ship, just for gameplay wise, to discourage ramming, if you hit the bow of a Santissima into another Santissima, the bow, you should get leaks on the bow, but the other Santissima wouldn't get leaks, if you get what I'm saying, just to discourage ramming, so that if you hit bow on bow, both ships get leak. If you hit bow on side, only the rammer should get leak. So if I were to hit the side of another Santissima with this Santissima, I should get leaks, but he shouldn't. If both of our bows were to hit each other, both should get leaks. And if like side hits side, none should get leaks. That might also be an interesting way to go along things. Or both. Is that one stuck on land? No, it isn't. Okay. All my teammates are dead. Well, I'm in a Santissima in a Commodore mission. I'll be fine. So yeah, what do you guys think? Interesting idea? No-go? Bad idea? Or bad ideas? Do you like that they disabled ramming, causing leaks, or do you hate it? Tell me the reasons why. And I'll work on getting more Naval Action content as well. I'll be doing things like this when devs post changes and such. I'll discuss those changes and if there's suggestions for future things, which I've been ignoring doing, that the devs post. Since the devs have been very open with their development process, like before they implement something, they post a thread about it on the forums, allow for feedback and such. So I'll be doing videos on those threads as well. So yeah, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed watching. Share your opinions below, as I said. And I'll see you next time. Bye.